What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video on my channel. So today's video I'm going to be talking about certain things that you are going to observe when you come to Rio de Janeiro, and things that are quite different than your home country. Now, a lot of these things were kind of shocking to me, and once I found out the reasons why, I don't know the reasons for all of these things, but when I found out the reasons for some of them, I was kind of like, okay, that makes sense. So let's get started with things that may shock you, or things that you'll observe and possibly could shock you. Now, the first thing is when you go to the washroom. Now, that's probably going to be one of the very first things that you do arriving in Brazil, arriving in Rio specifically. You're going to notice that there'll be bathrooms where it says throw toilet paper in the garbage bin. So in most places like the airport or hotels, they'll obviously have it in English as well as Portuguese. So you'll notice that all around the place. Yes, it's true. You shouldn't throw the toilet paper in the toilet bowl. The reason for this is the plumbing here in the city of Rio is so old and so outdated that most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, if people throw the toilet paper in the toilet bowl, it's gonna get clogged and you'll have a really nasty mess. So I didn't learn that the hard way. I would always pretty much stick to it, but I was very curious as to why that is, why you can't throw the toilet paper. Just simply the sewage system here can't handle it. I don't know that if it's the fact that the pipes are too narrow, or the fact that it just maybe there's weak material, and if you clog it all once, I really don't know. I think that it's personally, I think that they built the sewage system with narrow pipes and things like that. So all I know is that when you come here, you'll notice that you cannot throw the toilet paper in the toilet bowl. Same thing in my apartment. It has to go in the bin, which is kind of gross because if you don't throw it out, it can accumulate the smell, and we won't go there. So yeah, that's one thing you'll notice when you come to Rio here. Another thing that you'll notice is that most people here, other than like tourists, if you see them around, most Brazilians, if not all, will drink from a cup. So whereas in North America, we tend to drink, if it's soda pop, you'll drink it from a can in a lot of cases, right? I've done that. I did that when I used to drink soda way back in the day. Very common. Here, simply they do not do that. I don't know what it is. I don't know the reason. I just think that maybe they think it's less chance of spilling, or I think they prefer the cup. Plus, it's easier to drink probably from a cup too, right? So I don't know the exact reason for it. I've never really asked anybody. I just always would crack a joke. Another cup. Yeah, gotta use a cup. So I would just simply do that. If any of you guys are Brazilians watching and you know the reason, or even if you're not Brazilian and you've been here and you found out why that is, write in the description below. I'd be very curious to know why that is. I couldn't find any reason. The answers online, I searched it, couldn't find out. Yeah, that's one other thing that you'll notice if you observe closely how people are, even the beer, whatever they drink really, they'll put it in cups, even at home. So it's very, very interesting quirks, that's for sure. So another thing that you'll notice here that is quite common is that people have booths set up almost all around the city, selling all kinds of things like baked goods, or they'll have pastries or hot dogs or anything you could possibly think of. They try to sell it here in Rio de Janeiro. Now, I don't think that it's fully legal, because I've known some people who were selling things on the beach, and it's apparently prohibited. I did mention it in my other video when I was helping the acai guy selling his product, and he was telling me you have to have certain permits and things like that. So I think it's kind of one of those things that they're not supposed to be doing, but no one really clamps down on it. You will notice that they sell tons of things around, like beer stands, and like people will walk up to you and try and sell you things as well. That's can be an annoying thing, but this is not that video. But yeah, so you'll see a lot of different like kiosks, little kiosks and things like that, especially here in Copacabana, the touristy areas. That's very common for sure. Now, like I said, I don't think they're supposed to be, so you might see the occasional bust once in a while. Unfortunately, that happens. Yeah, we don't have that in North America as well either, right? I believe you have to have a permit, and people pretty much follow the rules, unlike here, right? If you know Brazil. So yeah, the one thing you'll also notice, and I remember, I'll have a video about my early experiences here in when I first came to Rio, but I still remember it was election time, and they often have cars driving by with loudspeakers mounted on top of the cars or the side of the cars, and just like blaring by all kinds of announcements. It could be like a political candidate, it could be propaganda, like advertising for some sort of a company or product or whatever. You will see this quite often. I think it's more common in like less rich, less wealthy neighborhoods, because the first time I touched down in Rio, I was in a neighborhood north of Rio de Janeiro, in the city, north part of the city, I should say, just near the international airport, and man, were they blaring all over the place. So it's kind of one of those things. If you're it's going to be your first time in Rio, you might see that happen. You might hear the noise, and you just don't be alarmed. It's just very common here. Most of my experience, I would say it's like selling a product or propaganda or like political something. It's always advertising, that's for sure. Sometimes I can't even make out what they're saying, because it's just like blah, 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 blah. It's just very muffled, the way that they speak and things like that. Often I get passed by here in Copacabana, these guys driving a Kumbi. I don't know if you guys know what that is. I'll post a picture right here so you can take a look. But they don't build these anymore. And these guys, they drive around, and they have an automatic announcement as well, and you can hear it as soon as they like get within a few blocks of your apartment. And what they do is they're telling people, if you have like scrap metal or old refrigerators or anything like that, they're willing to take it off your hands. So I think it's like I do understand it now, of hearing it over and over and over, like 90% of it. So it's really, really funny, and I've never seen anybody bring down their old fridge or oven or whatever. They're like scrap guys, right, for materials. So that's always been a funny thing whenever I hear them. And then they play some sort of music as well. I have these ones who are selling fruits and vegetables. There's an example for you guys. Really funny. Let's move on. Another thing that you'll notice here, and I probably could have added this on my list of annoying things, but it doesn't annoy me all that much. I would say people never having change, and I'm talking about like the basic small amounts of change. I don't even mean like little change, any change whatsoever. It always seems to be a struggle to get change, or if you have a high bill, like let's say a 50 or 100 reais bill, people are not going to want to break it for you unless they're like pull out a wad. That happens sometimes, but really don't expect a lot of people to have change for high notes. I would say try to carry around like notes of 20s, 10s, and 5s. You'd probably be okay. But like hundreds or 50s, the likelihood of you getting change, unless you're going to buy a whole bunch of stuff, It's very, very unlikely. So you'll notice that. And other thing I noticed is sellers along the beach, they always have a struggle to get change as well. And I've always heard, no man, I don't have any change, sorry. So it seems to be a problem for them too, because a lot of people are giving them high notes and then they're not able to break it, and then they keep running out of change. So a lot of times some people just don't have the change. I find that it's like, you're selling stuff, you should have the change. The worst part of it is like at the kiosks along Copacabana Beach, the boardwalk area, they don't have change either. I mean, I don't know if it's that they don't have change or they don't want to give you the change. I always find that. It's kind of like, how are you in business if you don't have change for your customers? So that could be a little annoying. Just to avoid that, either use card or walk around with smaller size notes. That's all I would say. Moving on. So, cell phone. This is an interesting one that you'll notice if you sign up for a cell phone plan here, or if you buy credit. I typically stick with credit. I'm with a company called Tim, and I used to be with Claro, which was another company. So this could be annoying too for you, but I'm going to put it as something that just to look out for as an observation. I find it annoying, but I'm not going to do so many annoying videos. I still have to do some positive ones. So what you'll find is the cell phone companies, once you've got credit or you've signed up with them or whatever, they tend to send a lot of like advertising messages, or as they say here, propaganda via SMS, so text message. I'll just give you a look here. I hope you can see it. This is just from today. I have a couple from yesterday, but most of them are from today. So I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 in the last less than 24 hours, way less than 24 hours. So craziness. Look at that. So I'm not even lying. Like, you do get these messages. I'll tell you one of them. One is like, you have a new message. I don't have inbox, for example. I don't have a voicemail. Another one is like, always asking if you want to upgrade. So you're going to get that. The other thing that you'll notice as well is that they're going to call you to try and upgrade your plan as well. Even with credit on your account, not just like signing up for a 1-year plan or a monthly plan or whatever it is. They will call you a lot. And what I do now, I'll either ignore it or I'll mute my phone because sometimes I'm working or whatever, or I'll just simply answer, mute the call, and put it on speaker, and I know right away that it's them trying to get me to upgrade. It's usually a number that's like 920 or 3030 0303. Really interesting. So just keep that in mind when you're signing up for a phone. Oh guys, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget the like button. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. So moving on, ways to pay for things here. Like I've done this a lot here being in Brazil, paying for things online. Now, you generally are going to have some problems with credit card. I'll give you an example. Americanas, which is that it's kind of like a Walmart of Brazil, I would call it. Normally, it could be the problem with the online, but it does not accept my North American credit card. The best bet would be like Mercado Livre. They accept credit card online. You just have to sign up an account, but I think it's really difficult unless you don't have a CPF. So with them, it's hard to create an account just for security purposes. Another one would be Amazon. Works quite well here in Brazil. You can set up your credit card if you already have an account. You just change your address. Works excellent. Now, there are ways you can pay with Mercado Livre Americanas, and other various stores online that they have here. Now, one of them is called Pix, and what this is, you have to have a bank account for this, and it's simply like an e-transfer kind of thing, except a lot easier. You can e-transfer or send a transaction to the other person via CPF or their cell phone number. So it's quite easy. I use it sometimes. I have an account here, so it works quite well for me. Another way is called boleto, or boleto. And this is basically, if you have a bank account here, you go into, they do not have this, by the way, in Canada or the US, I'm pretty sure. So you go into your bank account, what they do produce for you is like a barcode on after you've purchased the item, and you simply can scan from your app if you have an account here, and you can pay the bill right straight from your account in seconds. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that they have here specifically for Brazilians, I believe, I've never used it, in being able to pay for things, is something called parcelar. So it's similar to how we kind of like pay off our credit card, monthly installments. I guess that would be the equivalent here. And they only got this like maybe 8 to 10 years ago. So it's something that's quite new for Brazilians, and it's really beneficial and useful for people who don't make a lot of money and they need to pay for something. So what happens basically is they are able to pay off their credit card in installments. This never existed here before in Brazil. I think it was launched in 2011. I'll put the exact date right now so you guys can see when that was launched here. But it wasn't that very long, and it was very advantageous for Brazilians, those who are unable to pay for things directly. You can still pay for things one-off, but this is kind of like to help people who are financially incapable of paying for it like right off the bat. So that's the video for today, guys. I just wanted to share some of my observations, things that I noticed over the years, and things that you're going to notice if you come to Rio de Janeiro for a visit, or if you end up staying for a long period of time. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Oh, and if you guys have anything that you also noticed that I didn't put in this video, and that if you've been to Rio that you want to mention, just put it in the description below, and I'll respond to it, and then I'll check it out and do some research and maybe observe it myself here. There's a lot of different things, coming from a different culture. So thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate your attention if you've watched all the way to this point, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Thanks.